I'm charging again. Greetings and welcome to Bournemouth. I'm in Bournemouth today. I have a very, very out of town delivery that I've done today, so I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to do a drive with me video. Those of you may know, I drive an electric van that only does 80 miles range. So this has been the theme of my day today, charging. I'll explain in detail in a minute. With the beauty of technology, I will fast forward until we're done charging and then we're on the road. Okay, let's go. We're on the road. We're finally on the road. Drive with me. Come and drive with me as I drive from Bournemouth back to Brighton. We'll see how far we get. As always with my videos, I will timestamp down below all the various topics that I talk about. If you want to skip ahead because I'm babbling and moaning too much about charging my van, which I'm about to get into in a minute, then please do so. All the topics will be down below. So yeah, today I have a delivery in Bournemouth. Now this isn't normal for me. I don't tend to deliver out of town because my van is very limited on battery. It only does 80 miles range, which is fine for me. Delivering in Brighton, you know, I don't tend to do over 50 miles in a day really, just delivering locally in Brighton. But it was a good, well-paid delivery to come over to Bournemouth today, so I decided to do it. But it does involve 3 different charging stops along the way, which is a bit mental. So I mean, the job had to be paying well for me to do this, but. How many have I got? I think we're about to fork off. I think I'm alright in this lane. We'll see. I'm not used to driving around here. But yeah, it was a disaster. I don't think it's ever gone smoothly when I've had to charge away from home. The charging system, the charging network in this country needs rapid, like a rapid charger. It needs rapid improvement. There's just far too little rapid fast chargers, and when you do get to one, there's 2 and they're both being used, or they're not even working in the first place. My first stop was a service station in Portsmouth. I got there, one wasn't working and one was in use. I was like, fine, okay, no problem, I'll wait for the other one to become free. The guy finished charging, drove off, I drove in there, that stopped working as well, both out of action. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, no problem. There's another one 10 miles down the road, so I drove to that one. Got there, one was in use, one wasn't working. The guy that was charged, he was fully charged. I could see it on the screen. He was on 100%, but then decided to spend half an hour in McDonald's before he came back to his car. I'm waiting there. It's just a nightmare. And anyone that has to rely on the network on a day-to-day basis, my heart goes out to you, because it must be a real struggle. It must be a real. Sometimes it goes completely smoothly. I mean, I literally wasted a couple of hours today on what went on, but I could have got there and it charged, no problem. Charge, done. But anyway, you don't want to hear me moan for this whole video about charging, but rapid improvement needs to come. I'm still waiting for the day when we get like electrified roads. Maybe have some like wind turbines in the centre of the road, some solar panels down the side, just charging the road, and we can just drive all day long. How long till that, do you reckon? 10 years? 15 years? 20 years? Who knows? But I'm waiting for that. Oh dear. So yeah, come and join me as we drive back. I don't know how long I'll do this video for. I mean, my next destination is 50 minutes away, where I'm going to have to charge again in Chichester to get back to Brighton. So we'll see if we make it all the way there. What I want to talk about, first of all, before I go into the main topics, I want to thank those of you that donated to my sister. She ran the Brighton Marathon on Sunday. I'm super proud of her. I posted it on YouTube a few weeks back, and I know some of you donated to her charity. I really appreciate that. If any of you guys want to donate, it's a great charity. I'll put the link down below. You can still donate. I mean, she's done it now, so you know, give her credit. But I'm so proud of her. She's done incredible. A marathon is an insane thing to do. I mean, I like to run, but 5-10 kilometers is my limit on running. I don't really go above that. But she done it in 5 hours and 20 minutes, I think, and you know, that's great for a first marathon. But I mean, my mind just boggles at the fact of just constantly running for 5 hours and 20 minutes. And it kind of put it in perspective, because I went out on my bike and I sort of caught up with her on various different parts of the route to cheer her on. And I went to pretty much when she started at like 10 o'clock. And then I caught her up on other various routes. And I'm thinking, Jesus, she's run this whole time. It kind of, in a way, because I like running, I feel like it would be something that I'd like to do. But everyone has the same thing about a marathon, don't they? It's not the actual marathon itself, although it's incredibly difficult. That's the easy part. It's the months of training that you have to do it. They're going out doing 3-4 hour runs, finding the time, finding the motivation to do all that. That's the tricky bit. The actual marathon itself, in comparison, is. But super proud of my sister. Well done. And yeah, donate down below. I'll put a link there. What do I want to talk about? I want to touch. I don't know when this video is coming out. It was either yesterday or a day before I released a video about trans rights and Labour's stance, recent stance on trans rights, and my opinions on it. And I guess I'll start off by going a little bit more in detail with this. I took a political break recently, some of you know, January, February, complete cold turkey on politics. No politics in my life. No YouTube, no news, no social media, just complete blackout on politics for January and February. And it was great. I recommend it. I really strongly recommend it to anyone that's heavily engaged in politics. The obvious things were nice, you know, just basically just not having politics in your head all day, not having Boris Johnson, fucking Tory guns in government constantly in your head all the time. But I knew that would be a great thing. But what I also encountered is it's quite nice to sort of take a step back and look at things from the outside. You know, you get this a lot with work. When you're working 24 hours, 100 miles an hour, you're in the zone, you've got deadlines, blah, 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 blah. You're like, oh shit, I need to get this done. But sometimes you need to sort of take a step back, take a break, have a coffee, reflect, and look at things in a different perspective. And that's what I've done when I come back into politics in March. I managed to sort of almost like I was able to assess some of the problems on the left of politics. I put comment because I hate these terms left and right. They're so abstract. What some people deem as left wing, other people deem as not left wing. You know, they're so arbitrary. But they're the easiest way to describe politics, aren't they? But I kind of assess some issues on the left and the Labour Party, which I kind of touched on in my last video, but I want to go into more detail of this. And it's just basically ignoring problems that floating voters, Brexit voters, red wall voters are concerned about. And Labour done this, you know, back in 2010 when they lost the election there. I think there were many reasons for that, but one of the reasons I think was they just ignored people's issues with immigration. You know, around the time we had a lot of Polish immigration and stuff like that, and this was the starts of the beginnings of Nigel Farage and Brexit. And I think what Labour have a problem of doing is just, instead of addressing the issues that people have, they just stick their fingers in their ear and go, no, there's no problem with immigration, no. One of the big things around that time was Gordon Brown with the woman that was concerned about immigration, and then afterwards he called her bigoted in the car and the microphone was on and it all came out. He later apologised to the lady, but those sort of things have big impacts, don't they? And people just don't like to be ignored. I think that angers people more than anything. You can have a different opinion, but just being ignored is what really riles people up. This sort of thing happened at the time, and I feel it's happening now with the woke stuff. You know, on immigration, it's okay to come out and say, look, we love immigration. Immigration has brought amazing things to this country. It's made us economically so much wealthier, and it's brought us great culture and food and so many great positives from immigration. But you you can't just ignore that there are some negatives that come with it as well. Definitely the minority of immigrants are causing problems, but there are problems there. You know, you can't just ignore that there is a big problem with Albanian drug gangs in this country. There's a lot of illegal Albanians in this country dealing drugs, importing drugs. It's just a fact. I need to move over to the M27 lane. If you bear with me 2 seconds, there we go. You know, you can't ignore these problems, and there's no reason why Labour can't come out and say, look, we're all for immigration, it brings great things, but we will make sure that we tackle criminals coming into this country. And I think that's what they want to do anyway, with having instead of this garbage Rwanda policy, having an immigration centre in France where we can check these people, bring more people in legally, but check who's coming in. See, that's the problem. People have a problem with immigration altogether, but let's bring people in, and in that way, if we bring people in legally, we can check those that are coming in and not let the criminals in. The way we have it at the moment, they're coming in illegally and we don't know who's coming in. But just to ignore those problems, I don't think Labour are vocal enough on this. And it's the same with the woke stuff and the gender politics that a lot of people seem to be concerned about in this country. This is what I talked about in my last video. Labour and the left in general just seem to ignore this, you know, because the same thing, we love rights for trans people, we want the trans community to feel accepted, to feel comfortable, to live their lives however they want to live, but we have to have common sense policies when it comes to males entering female prisons or trans athletes completely destroying females. And you know, these are real issues that people are really concerned about, and it needs to be addressed. And the same thing with Labour, they just stick their fingers in their ears. No, there's no problem with gender politics, no problem. And I'm hoping that's what they're going to address now. We'll see, because they've got issues, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned about Labour for the next election. Now, I guess next topic, this will lead into my opinions on the Labour Party at the moment. They've stayed consistent forever, really, but they've got issues at the moment because they've still got this divide. And this is what happened over the last couple of days with Labour announcing that they're going to be reviewing the Equalities Act, or they plan to review the Equalities Act, which has got a lot of trans rights in there. And this is what got a lot of people on the left of the Labour Party, or just the left in general in this country, got very upset by this. And I kept seeing over social media, I'm not voting Labour, I'm not voting Labour. Now, you know, I get it. I really do get the frustrations that people have with the Labour Party. I completely understand it. But, I mean, Keir Starmer Labour Party is in no way, shape or form what I'd want from a political party. I'd probably say the best way to describe it is the Tories share 0% of the sort of policies that I'd want to see, or the sort of government that I'd want to see. The current Labour Party probably show about 30% of the policies and things that I'd like to see. But I will always be... Sorry, I'm just going to change lanes. He's let me in. I still stand by the fact that we will only get a more socialist government, a more fairer government, a government that will move more away from neoliberalism and things like this, if... Actually, I don't want to be in that lane. I thought that thing was slowing. We will only get this type of government with PR. We won't get it with a first past the post. It will never happen. The people on the left in this country and the people on the left of the Labour Party, I'm sorry, you'll never achieve a Labour Party government, a staunch socialist, an anti-neoliberal Labour government with first past the post. You won't. The only way to get that is with a proportional representation voting system. And the only way to get to that, the only vehicle to get to that, is a Labour government. You won't get that with another Tory government. You won't. And okay, Starmer is not offering you what you want, But for me, at least, he's offering an opportunity for a PR voting system. He doesn't want it, but a lot of MPs and a lot of Labour MPs do. And I kind of see PR voting the same as you could see Brexit in the Tory party. There are a lot of Tory MPs that pushed for a referendum. For years, we're pushing for a referendum on EU, and eventually they got it because they persisted so much, and it was inevitable that David Cameron had to announce, he had to put a referendum on Brexit forward, and they eventually got it. And I kind of see PR as the Labour version of that. You know, Starmer doesn't want PR, of course he doesn't. He wants to be, I'm sure he wants to be in power for years and years and years. But the Labour Party in general do want it. And that's the only way we're going to have, the only big, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section, but I believe it to be the only way to get the sort of government that we want, a fairer government, is by getting PR. And if we have to go through a stagnant Starmer government to get there, then so be it. What's the other choice? Another Tory government, which will give you 0% of getting to a PR voting system. What's your thoughts? I do understand the pain, you know, I do understand the grievances from the left of the Labour Party, but we have to, the first stepping stone is a Labour government. We can't do this thing overnight. You know, I know Corbyn and his the right-wing media stacked up against him, but even if we got another socialist leader of Labour Party, they'd be facing exactly the same things from the right-wing media. This country, with first past the post, will not vote in a socialist Labour Party. They won't. It's been proven. We've got to get PR, and then we'll get a centre-left Labour Party propped up by a more socialist Workers' Party. That's what I believe. Thoughts? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Where are we now? So, I don't know if I'm gonna. I've got 63 miles of range. I need to concentrate a little bit because how many lanes on the M27 there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm good. So I've got to drive 30 miles. I've got 60 miles of range. That's the most legitimate place to charge up, but I don't know whether I'm going to have enough video content to get me to Chichester. But we'll see, mainly motorway driving. What else I want to talk about? Cost of living. Let's go on the cost of living at the moment. A term that I hate. I can't stand that term, cost of living. I hate it. I've said this before. Oh, Mr. Starmer, how much does it cost to live? I'd like to live, please. Oh no, too much for you, sonny boy. It costs quite a lot. Oh, it's quite expensive to live, is it? Yeah, it's really expensive to live. Really expensive. I'd like to live, but it's too expensive. I hate this term, cost of living. But I want to talk about it a little bit because I got this email through the other day. Check this out. There's a little section at the bottom there. Why did my payment go up? I didn't click it, but I'd like to think if I did click it, it would go through 100 reasons why the Tory government has completely screwed us over and how Brexit is making energy more expensive. And I don't think it did explain that. Oh man, things are getting tough. That bill, that electric bill. I mean, generally my electric bill is more expensive. I own an electric car, but it only costs me £1 a day. It's not extreme. It doesn't put a massive amount on my bill, really. £1 a day. But this, I'm definitely changing lane now. It's getting tough. Council tax came through now. That's going up. Food in the shops. Food shopping bills, and you know, I don't like to moan too much because I know there are people out there that are really struggling. You know, really struggling. They can't put food on their table. They can't heat their homes. You know, there are people that are really, really suffering out there. all that's happening to me is some of the luxuries are being taken away from life. That's what I'm having to deal with. Like I say, I hate to piss and moan, but it still sucks. It still sucks, you know, because life is for living, right? Not surviving. I'm in a lucky position where even with these increases, I can still pay the bills. I can put food on the table. My family have a roof over their head, and I'm so joyous for that, and I'm so happy that I can do that. People out there are struggling with that, but now the luxuries are being taken away from life. Eating out, you know, just going for a meal, you know, just taking the wife out for a meal is now incredibly expensive. One of the things that truly is my religion is music and live music and things like that. Now I really have to think about, can we afford to go have a couple of pints and go watch a live band? And I hate myself for moaning about this, because I know people are struggling far more, but you know, what is there? I still think that this is just as much a bigger issue as anything. The fact that people are going to be struggling now to take enjoyment out of life. I mean, what is this going to do for depression and mental health and things like that, when people can't have fun, can't enjoy themselves, can't do the things that they want to do, or just working and eating and surviving? It's shocking. It really is shocking. How are you guys coping? Is any other viewers really struggling at the moment with cost of living? It's bloody tough, and this rise in bills is just, I'm sure a lot of people are getting the same. I always like to stick to the left lane because I'm a slow bastard. My van's top speed is 60 miles an hour, but every time I go into the left lane, I end up in a bloody lane going to a different city that I don't want to go to. Tragic. Right, guys, was there anything else I want to talk about? Thank you in general for coming back and watching my videos after I took a break. I think I'm able to find a good balance now. I think my last group of videos, I'm filming this on the same day as my other one, was sort of a couple of weeks ago. So I guess I'm finding a good balance with maybe doing a video every 3 weeks. It's not affecting my work that way. I can still manage. So thanks for coming back, thanks for viewing the videos. I think that's probably where the channel is going to be at going forward. I'll maybe release a video every 3 weeks, which has gone from about 3 or 4 videos a week I used to do, which was just, I just couldn't do it. It was too much. It was getting in the way of my work, and financially, I just mentioned financially what's going on in the world right now. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there, guys. So I'm going to be charging in Chichester. Wish me luck. Hopefully there's no one there and I don't have to wait and I can charge straight away. I only need a quick top up anyway, so it'll only take me about 10 minutes to just top up a little bit, just enough to get me back to Brighton. And yeah, till next time, take care.